Blessings and welcome to the Law of One Study Channel. Conscious channeling of LL Research. I am Robert and I truly do welcome you, my fellow seekers, as we shall now talk about tests and trials. And no, I'm not gonna test you. We test ourselves. Anyways, seasons of suffering are called by many names. The most common one being the dark night of the soul. One thing of which we can assure ourselves is that we will experience these times of trial, large and small. It is as though before incarnation began, we were so greedy for this wonderful opportunity of a life that we piled far too much on our plate to eat at the banquet of living. Before you came into this incarnation, you planned for yourself temptations, trials, and troubles aplenty. You may have piled your plate very high, or done the equivalent of taking a 21-hour semester. It is not advisable, but we permit an ambitious lifetime. For if the ambition turns into fruit, it shall be great fruit, and those who suffer are those who bear fruit. Therefore, each of you has chosen difficulties on purpose, not for your abstraction, disgust, apprehension, fear, or worry, but for catalysts, that you may learn the lessons of love that it has been given you to learn to make the choice of service to others. Perhaps knowing that these inevitable patterns of sorrow and other negative emotions bring us to our lessons of love and ever pure service to others can help us better to accept these things. All paths will contain the difficulties which you have prepared for yourself. Each of you has great trials in the past and in the future. That is the nature of the illusion in which you have chosen to pursue the learning of the lessons of love. If you attempt to choose an easy path, difficulties shall come to you. If you attempt to choose the difficult path, difficulties will come to you. It is impossible to avoid them. So the virtue lies not in choosing difficulty, for difficulty is inevitable. The choice well made is that choice which seeks the most opportunity for service to others. The way out of difficulties of the spiritual path is directly through the thick of the issue or concern, for we truly cannot avoid being ourselves. Those times of sorrow come upon us for love's reasons. But how hard they are to see into sometimes. It can seem a most exhausting and fruitless endeavor to sustain oneself without resorting to a weary bitterness when under such emotional siege. Gradually, the path wins as it will. Difficulties and tests mount as the capacity to learn increases. This love created, this love destroys. All that is within that which we must, for lack of other words, call love. This awesome and terrible love shall test and stretch each of you. That it does so with sure purpose is very hard to see. When you are emptied and the filling of your cup has begun, rest in the hollowness within and allow the open heart to feel the peace of this one moment without fear. May you be sustained. One bright aspect about times of trial is the opportunities they give us to penetrate that personality shell of ours and dig through into richer, deeper fields of being. Each of you has the sterling opportunity to break through the defenses, the shells, the masks, that each has gathered about itself to defend itself from those pains which it fears. And the answer to these pains and difficulties is simply to accept them, to embrace them, to walk through them by faith, working in each case to see the love that is in the moment, and to be a part of that which is good for all those whom you meet. You see the confusions, the difficulties, the suffering are symptoms, shall we say, of the process of change or transformation when you have incomplete information. Each of you has woefully incomplete information in the conscious mind. In a way, we are as Isis going after the hidden parts of Osiris, trying to complete the puzzle of our whole selves. By throwing the self into the experiences of confusion, frustration, difficulty, disharmony, and dis-ease, the seeker of truth might test its ability to find the perfect reflection of self within each moment, in order that it might, piece by piece, experience by experience, construct the complete picture of the self, the creation, and the Creator as one being. Together with the meditative and contemplative practices that aid the searching soul in assembling a better whole picture of the development of the self, when going through a tough experience, it may be handy also to look at the issue of our desires. In this situation, what expectations or attachments to some outcome do we have? If at any time a difficulty arises, upon its examination there will always be found an expectation of some sort that is not being met. This is not to suggest that one should have no expectations. It is merely an analysis of how things work, shall we say, and that, therefore, to be aware of the expectations one has in any given situation is the first step in dealing with whatever difficulties may arise. Once one is aware of one's expectations, these may be worked with and perhaps adjusted if found to be unsatisfactory. Sometimes we can see right away that some settled preference of ours has bound us to an unhappy circumstance, and rather skillfully adjust our preferences to ease our sorrow. But sometimes we cannot. Sometimes we seem to stumble and fall and have no immediate help or hope. Our preferences go to the bone and we find no way to alter them. These are times when the veil of unknowing is heavy upon us, and faith is hard to hold. We are aware of the difficulties in traversing the path in darkness and of the strong desire many of you have for the illumination of the sun, so that obstacles may be seen, dealt with appropriately, or avoided altogether. The illumination of the sun on the path occurs, however, only when the veil does not exist. You are aware of the necessity of the veil for work done within the illusion. As a result of this, there is rarely perceived any clear direction upon the path. It must be taken one stumbling step at the time, and that which is encountered will be encountered and dealt with according to the current state of being of the seeker. It is the continuation on the path that is the important thing. So may we continue on the path of seeking together, with a merry heart, made lighter by the company of each other. Blessings, my sisters and brothers. It has been an honor speaking with you. Be in peace. Be in peace, soaking in the essence of our Logos. I love you.